Welcome to Orchestrated Gratitude. Sharing appreciation and gratitude is a hallmark trait of the orchestrated connecting community. I'm the gratitude junkie, Chris Palmore, the founder of gratitudespace.com, and with my co-host, the Conductor of Connectors, David Homan, we bring you a weekly series dedicated to sharing gratitude towards the friends made through these orchestrated connections. This is Orchestrated Gratitude. Welcome. This is episode 3 of Orchestrated Gratitude. Let me bring my cohort, gratitude brother in, David Homan. How you doing, man?
Doing great, Chris. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad we can make this happen. I always enjoy spending time with you. So it's nice that we're kind of making it happen. We're scheduling it.
We are. And the other two have been recorded earlier in the day, and now everyone can see later in the day. My hair gets higher and higher.
His gets higher and higher. I've had a nap, a shave, and shower, and I got the lights. I feel like I'm glowing.
You are.
So we decided this week that we were going to talk about silence and how important that is when it comes to just relationships. And I think just in life, I think having a little bit of silence, if it's just quiet time to yourself in the morning or some moments to reflection. It's easier to reflect when say there isn't a TV blaring or a stereo or somebody talking to you. I think that finding silence is something to be massively grateful for.
It is, and it's something that to be grateful for, you have to take an active stance in. You have to take it. You have to find it. You have to be given it. It's not just something that comes to you, because you have to take those moments in order to receive it.
Right, I agree, and I think about just perspective switching. Back. I mean, we're living in such a time where I actually do think about in the morning when I have this quiet time. I do reflect on it. That I'm really grateful that I have time just to sit, and that I can read. Right, that I can sit around and read, because that's not a given even in 2021. But if you look decades, centuries back, it isn't like we've always had this leisure time just to be, right? It's just another benefit and something that we'll be grateful for living in this day and age.
It is. So I'll give you a little bit of an anecdote from my early years as a classical composer and how I view silence now in the context of connectivity and relationships. So back in 2000, I had written a string quartet. It was based on a book called Einstein's Dreams. It was all about the theory of time and how time moved in circles, backwards, forwards, all these fascinating views of it. It ended up being a very substantial work of mine. But at the premiere, at the end of the fourth movement, the music finished. No one applauded. And I was shocked. I was sitting on my hands. I was actually sitting on my dad's hands because he always liked to applaud right away, but I wanted to see whether I had written something people liked. And about 40 seconds later, there was a collective sigh and a huge applause, a standing ovation. And that was the first time I realized that with music, you actually need to earn silence. It's not about what happens during the piece and what happens when the music is done and the thoughts that you've been able to engender and create are racing through people's heads. So when you look at that in the context of a relationship, when I make introductions, which I do sometimes 2,000 times a year at this point through the Orchestrated Connecting community, the music is what happens when you speak to one or both of the people being introduced. You tell them about each other's resonance, where it's going to have value. The silence comes in getting ready for their interaction. In that interaction, you are not privy to. And then in that moment of waiting to see if that introduction was indeed earned and whether it had value.
Right. Even this past week, introducing some friends to friends, I got really giddy about it, and the amazing thing when you do the email, sometimes you're actually privy to the conversation as it unfolds, right? Because they're writing back to each other, but you're a part of it. And even though I'm not interjecting, I'm hearing these thoughts and just seeing seeing the music play out per se, without, just kind of peering in and just getting excited. Cause I know when two people are just going to get along, and you don't know what that means, but you just know they're going to get along because they have so much in common or whatever. Again, just reading it, not interjecting, just letting it be, and then seeing what happens. For example, two friends of mine who are authors this past week, I introduced them to each other, and one of them got the book and made a Kindle's quotes from the book and put it on Instagram. And I woke up and I saw that. It just made me so happy because I care about these people. But there's Bobby's quote, which I love his book, and my friend Gail's the one sharing it because I connected them.
I mean, that's incredible, and you do an amazing job with this. It's the type of thing where, especially in the context of relational value, right? There's two real things to consider. The first one is that when you're making the introduction, when you're giving that value, and then the person receives it and they express gratitude back, you've actually helped them achieve a moment of pause because they've been searching and waiting for an introduction that would help them stop what they were searching for and solve something in what they were needing. But the other part of it, and this is really the more fascinating part with relationships, is what happens in that ripple effect from it. And that's the part that you also often never see, that these two authors might then make new introductions. But at the same time, what ends up happening is at some point it comes back to you, and all that gratitude collects together, just like the end of a piece of music. And it gives you your silence, your moment of fame, your moment of gratitude.
That's true. And it's interesting because both these people, it's funny when, it's like I've talked to both these people about the other people so much. So they were, it took somebody going, well, one day maybe I could, you know what I mean? Like I had to be, we get so busy, right? It's like sometimes it should be so obvious, but something's said and you finally go, whoa, why haven't I done that?
It's true, but and I want to see this video you have that illustrates some of this. But final thing I'd say before it is, what you look at is getting people to take time is the same thing as, in my world, getting somebody to listen to a piece of music. Once they've made a choice to actively listen or actively engage, what happens from that is the beauty of relationships and relational value.
Right. And that's a great place to pivot into this. Back in 2015, when I started, right when I was starting gratitude, it was lettersofgratitude.org back then, back in the early days of my gratitude journey. When the day the website was supposed to be launched, I wanted to have an experience. So I found out, I'm speaking this up, but I found out there was a monastery that was literally 45 minutes from where I grew up called Abbey Gethsemane. And they did retreats, and all you had to do was email them. And I fortunately emailed, and the monk wrote me back and said, well, they alternate male and female. And it happened to coincide the weekend that I needed to do this was a male weekend. So, I set about going and just having this experience at this monastery, which really changed my life and just created memories. And it's a beautiful thing. So I created this video there about silence. So that's what I'll share real quick here.
Beautiful.
So it just go back to silence. The best, I think the people we most connect with are you keep that in mind. It's like it's the people that listen. It's the people that allow that space, the comfortability of just being, right?
It's true, and the people who connect best to build relationships are active listeners. And being an active listener is choosing not to speak, choosing to give your voice to somebody else to learn how you can get them value. And I think, just to close out the thought on this from my side, when you achieve silence, you achieve real beauty, you achieve real resonance, because everything that's come before is still flowing through and can still be heard. But if you've done it right, you don't need to say anymore to make your point.
Well, I'm not going to add to that. That was too beautiful, David. So that was great, man. Well, I'm Chris with David, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining up.
Great. Thank you, Chris.